Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. Today we're looking at creating a progress circle chart in Microsoft Excel. Basically, this chart is telling us how far we have progressed through a task. The thick bit is the bit that we've already completed and the thin bit is the bit we have to go. Now there's a very interesting process here for making the thick and thin bits. So let's swing across to Excel where I've already got my categories in place. So I'm going to start by just putting some holding values in here for now. So I'm going to type 70 and a percent sign, and that will give me 70%. Now I've got incomplete is obviously 30%. I don't want to put that into the cell. Instead, I'm going to type an equal sign and then 100%, and I'm going to subtract the contents of this cell here and press enter. Now I still end up with my 30%, but in this case, if I change my 70% to, for example, 80%, then the 30% is going to change. So that's just really important to have these figures that update automatically. So I'm going to select over my data, which is just these two pieces. I'm going to insert, and we're going across here in the charts area to the pie chart. And in actual fact, we want the donut chart. So we want this one here. I don't want the legend, so I'm going to select it and remove it. So this is the chart of the data so far. Now there's some white bits here that we want to get rid of, so we'll start by doing that. We're going to click on the chart to select it. We'll right click and choose Format Data Series. Now the thing that's making those white bars is over here in the fill area, and it's this border. So I'm going to set the border to no line. Let's click away from the chart and you can see that that has removed that white border. We need our chart to be a bit thinner in the middle, so every time I'm selecting this chart I'm already getting to where I need to be, and that's the donut hole size here. It's in the series options. So I'm going to increase my donut hole size quite a bit. You can probably get up to about 90%. That's going to give you a bigger hole in the middle and a thinner line around the edge. Now you could also change the angle of the first slice if you wanted to, so that's going to move the first slice around the chart. So you can do that if you prefer. I'm going to leave mine as it is. Now to make our thick and thin pieces, first of all we're going to select on the bit we want to be the thin bit. So I'm going to select this, and you can see that it's got little white dots around this area. That's telling me that this piece is selected. In fact, if we go to the fill options, we should see that the color is orange. So that's just confirming that's the orange bit that we have selected. Now I don't want it to be orange. I think a small neutral gray would be a better color. So I'm going to choose a sort of light gray for that. Now we're going to the blue color here. You can see now I've got the color appearing here. This is the blue color. The way we're going to make the blue thicker than the gray is by adding a border back into it. So we're going for a solid line border. Now the border needs to be the same color as the chart itself, because that's what's giving us the extra thickness. So you'll find typically that your chart colors are actually selected from the top colors in the theme. So having added that border, we're now just going to increase its size. So I'm just going to increase the width of the border until I get the result that I want. Now, remembering of course that I can make the chart a little bit different in size by clicking on it and going back and it just increasing the donut hole size. The bigger the donut hole is, the thinner the chart itself is. So now we want to put something like this 80% in the middle of the chart. It's really important to make sure that you have the chart selected before you do anything like this, because that means that whatever you're inserting into your chart is going to travel with your chart in future. We're going to the insert option here. There are a couple of options you could use. You could use a text box, or you could use word art. I'm going to use word art, so I'm just going to select this orange word art. Now I'm going to select over my word art and delete it. With it still selected and my insertion point in the word art dialog, I'm going up here, I'm going to type an equal sign, and I'm going to click on the cell that contains the data that I want to appear in the middle here. So I'm saying we're 80% complete. I want to focus on the 80%. So having now got that appearing here in the formula bar, I'm just going to press the enter or return key, and this gives me my number inside my chart. Now I can select over my word art and come here to the home tab of the ribbon and just increase its size so that it shows a bit better in the chart. Now the colors are all wrong, but if we go to format it, we need to make sure that we go to shape format because there are the format options for this particular object. So let's go to shape format, and it's obviously the text that we're looking at. So I'm going to make the center of the text white, and I'm going to make the outline of the text here the same blue color as our chart. Now it's also got a shadow, and so we're going to need to fix up the shadow. So let's go into shadow options. You can see that the shadow at the moment is orange, so let's just make it blue to match the rest of the chart. Of course, at this point we could go ahead and also give our chart a title. Now this chart is linked to the underlying data, so if the current completed percentage were to increase to, for example, 90%, we could just type 90% in here. You can see that the chart is closing up and the number in the middle of the chart is also altering. Let's just test it with a smaller number. Let's try 30%. Again, the chart is diminishing to show the 30% that we have completed, and the text is changing too. These charts are relatively easy to make. They make a good addition to your Excel dashboards and also just a visual representation of data when you have something like progress towards a goal. If you like carefully researched content like this, clearly presented in a step-by-step format so that you can get great results every time, then you'll love my other YouTube videos. So give this video a thumbs up and click to subscribe to the channel. And on the screen now, you'll see a video that I've handpicked for you to watch next.